Hey guys, welcome back to Delaware Acre. It has been a minute since I posted anything in the garden, I guess. And when I recorded this, it was probably late November, early December. We had some really mild weather around that time, right around Thanksgiving. And I tried to utilize that time to try to get this very tedious task of trying to, I guess, edge out the garden. This grass, this type of clover, I don't know what kind of clover this is, but it is like a carpet, and it's very difficult to delineate the grass versus the wood chips. And I know that my husband prefers a nice delegated space for the garden and the wood chips, and it just looks nicer too. So this is the side of the garden that my neighbors see, and I just want to make sure that it looks nice from their side too. And also just need to put the garden to bed for the winter. And at the time, I had every intention of getting back out here and deciding where I was going to plant my garlic. And as of the time that I'm editing this, it's been a little bit. I still don't have garlic in the ground, and it's frozen outside now. So I don't know that that's necessarily going to happen this year. And yes, I'm outside in socks and Crocs doing gardening work. I should probably have at least sneakers or some sort of work shoe on. But like many times when I end up recording or doing anything in the garden, it ends up being I have time to do this, and if I start now, I could probably work on it for a little bit, and then it kind of turns into a project. I do have the fire pit going also, and I am trying to burn old tomato vines and pumpkin vines, but I think they're all a little too wet, so you'll see some smoke kind of blowing through here. I'm trying to just edge out, like I said, edge out the side of the garden here, and I'm just kind of pulling up the material. I mean, it's grass and this clover stuff, and it's just coming up like a carpet. And I got my little trusty wagon here, and it's hard work, and it's, like I said, it's tedious. And I only got like 3/4 of this line done, but I did get the roadside done too. That's in the front of the garden here, like in the bottom left hand side of your screen, that area. But yeah, just plugging away along here. And honestly, I don't even know if this is the best way to do this. It is kind of backbreaking work, but thankfully my back wasn't bothering me too badly. This was like towards the end of the day, and I'd already, worked and parented all day, and was just trying to get as much done as I could before the sun goes down around here. It's pretty dark outside, like street lights are on by 5:30 around here. So I just was trying to keep an eye on the kids outside and take advantage of the mild weather so I could get that fire pit going and take advantage of trying to make this side of the garden look a little bit nicer. And like I said, I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but it's what felt like the right thing to do. So I just kind of went to town and decided that I would just try to get it up. I know I'm leaving roots. I know that this is probably going to come back, but you'll see here that I am trying to cover it with cardboard. And I toyed around with the idea for many, many weeks before and after recording this video, and even up until now of editing. I just this week placed an order for chip drop. I was going to try to source wood chips from my girlfriend who lives down the street. She has a huge pile of wood chips from a tree that she had down, and it was very it would help her out if I took some of them also. But driving on her yard after like this time of year, we live in a neighborhood with septic systems, so we have to be very careful where we drive, and just trying to organize a time when her family's available, her time home is available, and my husband's time to hook up the trailer and then to help me load it and then spread it. So I talked with him, and I said, I think I'm going to try it one more time, even though the last chip drop was a disaster with all those thorns in it. And I did have a video about that. I can link it. But it was kind of a disaster, and I'm still kind of paying for that right now with trying to dig the thorns out. But I have so much cardboard that I've been saving because I knew this needed to be done. And yes, I know that there's some issues with putting cardboard, especially Amazon cardboard or boxes like this, down with the glue and the bindings and stuff in there. But I do try to rip all the tape off. I definitely don't put plastic tape down. I try to get the labels off as best as possible. And I'm trying to use this as like a weed barrier. So I get it down. And like I said, I have been storing cardboard for a long time now, or not a long time, but since the summertime. I found these really big boxes at work, and I asked if I could have them. And they're like furniture boxes, very big, very thick, would be perfect as weed paper. But it's just, you have to, I feel like you have to get some of this stuff up before you can put that down, just because it's going to, I guess, eventually just like your wood chips, your cardboard's going to break down and you'll have to do weeding and stuff again. And it's all part of gardening. I actually don't mind having my hands out here in the dirt and doing this. It's just, it's tedious. And I'm trying to have good body mechanics here, but after a couple hours of doing this, you kind of lose that. But so I kind of thought I'm going to try to save the dirt and the broken down, like composted kind of material from the stuff that I'm picking up, and try to spread it around into my garden beds, because they all need to be topped off anyway. My compost isn't ready. All the stuff that I'm picking up, I'm just going to put into the compost anyway. So I got this crazy idea. At the time, it sounded like it seemed really good on paper, and it kind of executed okay. But now that I'm editing this, I wonder if I'm putting like weed seeds right into my garden beds. But at the same time, I don't mind going out and weeding in my garden beds, just as long as it's not as tedious as this around the garden bed mulching situation is. So I did this several times in a bunch of the garden beds, and I feel like I saved myself a little bit of time between putting all this in the compost, waiting for it to all compost down, and then all of the bigger wood chips that don't fall through, that end up laying on top, I'm putting them back on the cardboard. So I'm trying to save myself a little bit of work here, but I mean, it's all work in the end, and it's all good for you. So I was outside, had my hands in the dirt. These gloves that I was wearing did not keep the dirt from getting in. My fingers were still gross by the end of this. And I don't know, maybe I was working just so hard that the dirt just made it through. So anywho, I went to cleaning up these beds too. These pine chips, or I guess, are they pine chips? Yeah, they're pine chips. They look like cedar chips, but they're pine. I had them for when I was helping to raise chickens, meat chickens at my friend's house down the way. I ended up buying an extra bag, and he said he didn't need them, so I kept them and I mulched with them, and they worked out really well. So I was trying to like push them off to the side and then pull them back after I put some of this material from the mulching carpet area in there, and yeah, they seem to work okay. Once they get wet, they don't necessarily blow away, but it's been pretty windy, and I went back out to just check on the garden now that everything's put to bed, and they did kind of blow around a little bit. So yeah, I mean, everything's going to blow no matter what you put. So no matter what you put down. So yeah, I am just working on each bed, cleaning them up, ripping out stuff. I think I ended up burning those pepper plants that I pulled out too. I moved over to this bed here, and these cannas were actually, they're volunteers, and I'm pretty sure that I don't know if a seed blew over there or if they grow this well from seed in one season, but these things were massive, and they're so cool. They're so pretty. I'm definitely going to transplant these. I just didn't have the energy to do it, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to put them at this time. I have an idea where I want to put them up by the house. We recently had that pole barn built, and I wanted to put them on the opposite side, on like the really sunny side, because they have these beautiful dark red flowers, and they would look great against the gray siding of both the house. We have new siding up, and the pole barn. But I just didn't have the go ahead from my husband on where to plant them, and we were still getting some plumbing and wiring and stuff done. So all that needed to be done before I could transplant them into those spots where I was talking about. So I just cut them back and I'll compost those. I have already gone out and previously and harvested the seeds from those flowers, and I can link a picture of what those seeds look like. They're really cool. I put them in a an old Pringles can because it's just what I had handy when I was harvesting them, and they sound like little BBs, and they're really hard little seeds. And my dad was interested in these too, so I was thinking I will go ahead and try to start some in the spring. So yeah, so I'm putting this cardboard, because I have it, on top of my garden beds to put them to bed. And then there were some staples in these really big ones. So it had recently rained and the cardboard was soft, and I was able to pull those staples out. And mostly just because I don't want to stick my hand in there and get a staple stuck in my finger, because they were like the big shipping freight type staples. I don't know how else to describe them. So yeah, I put that on top of my garden beds and as like a weed paper. Usually I just put straw down, but this is what I had, and I just put some rocks on there. I don't know how lovely this looks to my neighbors, especially once it gets windy and the edges start peeling up, but I'm kind of using what I have, and my neighbors haven't really complained. I do ask them to let me know if it's something that is an eyesore to them, and I would try to address it. But my neighbors seem to really like they like watching the garden grow, and they at this point, none of them have told me that they mind the garden. So I'm lucky to have neighbors that don't. They kind of encourage it, and I share my produce with them too. Yeah, we have good neighbors. So I do have a little bit of straw left, and this was the old strawberry bed. So I am mulching this real thick. You can see some cardboard there. I do have more cardboard left, but I wanted to use up this straw also, and there was already straw in that bed, so kind of going with it. I'm using the wood chips in the beds that had the wood chips, and then straw in the beds that had the straw, and then nothing that had gets cardboard in it. So yeah, just tidying up. It's amazing how much stuff you end up leaving out in the garden when you are just tired of gardening throughout the year. And then it comes this time of the year and it's time to pick it all back up and take it inside. So with the pole barn being built, we kind of shifted stuff around. All my husband's workshop stuff, he does a little bit of woodworking and puttering around. It's now all out in his shop or the pole barn, and now I can actually park in the garage, and his little shop portion is now my seed starting potting area. So I'm trying to organize that too. So I'm grabbing everything from outside because I'm not going to be out here as much, and taking it in. So I am to non-garden people, this looks awful. So I try to get these pumpkin vines down. They have to dry out though before you can pull them down, because otherwise you're just fighting the whole time to get them down. And you can see I'm kind of struggling. I'm only 5 foot tall, so trying to get these off. And then any little bit of wind and you pull those things down, and the leaves just kind of right into your face, and you kind of end up eating pumpkin leaves. And they still do have those little prickly things on them too, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to tear it down. But if everything's dry, it just kind of breaks off, and then that stuff I did end up burning, because you don't want to compost your tomato vines or your pumpkin vines, because they can have tomato vines can have disease in them that will not compost out unless you get your compost really hot, which I do not. And I also don't get my compost hot enough to kill out any bug eggs. For example, mostly talking about what are they called? Squash bugs. They're just, they're something I've always had in my garden, and they don't seem to really cause too much damage in my garden. They're there and they're annoying, and you put your hand down and they, you end up touching them. They're like gross stink bugs, and they're just kind of everywhere. They're very brash. They just live on your plants like they belong there. And I kid, but in the grand scheme of things, they do belong there. But anywho, the eggs from those little suckers can compost. They overwinter, and if you don't get your compost hot enough to kill weed seeds or insects eggs, you'll just be promoting their growth in your garden. So I will burn those too. And you can't really tell here because you can see the sun is off. If you're looking at the screen, it's to the left of the screen, but the sun's getting real low, big guy. And I'm losing light fast here, and so I'm trying to work quickly, and I have to go in and feed my I have to go in and feed my family too. So yeah, I will catch you guys on the next video. This is all the video is. This is all I've been doing, that and just trying to keep up with middle school homework. Oh my gosh, it's just nonstop. All the emails and all of the homework that this poor child has to do. I just am trying to help him keep up with it, and a second grader who is now reading everything, and I try to get them to help each other, but it's life of a working mom. So we're also a shift work family, so we work around that. But yeah, I am hoping to start posting a little bit more now that things have slowed down outside and sports are over. But yeah, I just I wanted to say thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for coming back to watch a video. Appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you liked it. And until the next video, hope you're well. Take care. Bye.